Well, hello, y'all. This lesson is for Tuesday, May 5th. Hope everybody's doing well. And a quick update on Jaden. If you didn't know, she was in the hospital over the weekend. Her appendix burst, and she had to have surgery on Sunday. But she did very well with her surgery, and she's recuperating in the hospital, and she'll be home hopefully by the end of this week. So you can keep her in your prayers. All right. Let's talk about your source text notes that you took for your homework. You were to take notes on source text 1 about the beginning of Rome and write it on your paper, choosing the notes that you thought were most important or most interesting. Then you were to take notes from source text 2, which was also about the beginning of Rome, but just from a different perspective, and take the notes for that. What I'm going to show you today is how to take some of the notes from here and some of the notes from here and to make a fused keyword outline. Okay? So, this is the page of notes that I took and that we talked about before, and yours probably looks different, and that's good. But I'm just going to show you with what I have how you can make a keyword or a fused keyword outline. So we'll take the notes from the first source text, the city named Rome, and what I did was I highlighted the information that I want to include from this source text, and then I highlighted the information I want to include from this source text. Now in this particular paper, we're going to put this information first, because this is the factual information, and then we're going to come in with the legend part at the end. Okay, so the first note I have is that Rome was settled on 7 hills near the Tiber River. Okay, and that you see that right here. Secondly, I'm going to use that the fact that they joined together to create an army, and they ended up invading other villages and towns. So that will go next. Then I have the fact that the first king was in 753 BC. That was Romulus. And from that point on is when they grew to be a great empire. Then I'm going to transition into the legend part using this information. Okay, the legend of the first king Romulus and his brother Remus. And then I'm going to add that his uncle left them in the Tiber River, and then that they were rescued by a wolf, raised by shepherds. And then lastly, I'm going to include that they fought, or the part where they fought, and where Remus died and Romulus ended up being the one to build the city. So that's my fused keyword outline. Okay, so look over your notes that you took and pick the ones, like I did. I highlighted the ones that I wanted to include in my paper, and then write them in a reasonable outline that makes sense and flows nicely. Okay, don't forget your clincher has to repeat or reflect 1 to 3 keywords from your title, which you can add at the end. And it also has to reflect 2 to 3 words from your topic sentence. Okay, remember the topic sentence is going to describe what your paragraph is about, how Rome began, or the beginning of Rome. Okay, so that's part of your homework. You're going to be taking this fused keyword outline and writing a paragraph with these notes. All right, let's do a little bit of review with your vocabulary. We haven't talked about vocabulary in a while. We don't have a board to play hangman on, so we're just going to talk about them. These are the most recent words you've had: evolve, revere, durable, adwat, console. All right, and even though these words are from Lesson 17, we're not going to be actually writing the project from Lesson 17, but we are going to learn these vocabulary words. So go ahead and tear out these last 4 words in your green cards in the back of your book and add them to your pile. And part of your homework tonight will be to do a vocabulary crossword puzzle, and that will include these new words, as well as some of the older ones that you've had before. Profusely, which means abundantly or freely, billowing, swelling and rising. Exalted, ecstatic, full of energy. Okay, it will also include some of the older vocabulary words that you have been using in your papers for a while now. Streak, adorned, explicit, which means clearly stated. Awe, cease, tantalize. I know you'll never forget what tantalize means. Chide, defy, encase, deplete, stunning, validate, resolute. Okay, these are all going to be in the vocabulary crossword puzzle. And just for a heads up, you will have your last vocabulary quiz on Thursday, a week from this coming Thursday, which is May 14th. Okay. So, get your vocabulary words out. Before we start the fix-it corrections, I want to look over your new cards with you that I would give you if I could see you. But these are the last cards that will be added to your pile, and they're talking about comparative and superlative adjectives. So when you compare two things, you're going to use an adjective with an ER at the end. Okay? If you say, this book is small, but that book is smaller, you're comparing this book to that book. If you have 3 books, or if you have 10 books, you might point to one of them and say, this is the smallest. So if you're comparing 3 or more, you use EST. If you're comparing 2 things, you just use ER. Okay? So comparative adjectives end in an ER. Superlative adjectives end with an EST. Now this is the general rule. There are exceptions as always. As you can see in this example, you don't say good, gooder, goodest. You say good, better, best. You don't say bad, badder, baddest. You say bad, worse, or worst. But the general idea is you add the ER or the EST to the end of the adjective. Okay? So, also, I wanted to point out to you, notice these words that are used on your card: small, good, big, bad. Notice anything about those words? Yes, they're banned words. So don't start using these kinds of words in your papers. These are just for examples to show you the difference between the comparative and the superlative adjectives. Alright, let's get on to your fix-it paper. This is week 29, and we are going to have to double up if we want to be able to finish the story before the end of the school year. So we're going to do one every school day, and we may even be doing 2 on one of those days. Alright, so I'll read the story first. While he maintained his disguise, the soldier chopped up some apple and handed her a dose. Okay, and you know what a dose of medicine is, right? If you've ever had to take medicine, it's just a certain quantity of medicine, maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon. As the soldier had anticipated, the next day her nose was no better, which left the unhappy princess in a dreadful fright. Okay, anticipated means something was expected. The doctor then chopped up a modest portion of the pear, which he presented to her. And modest in this case means limited in amount, just a small amount. The next day her nose was indeed smaller, yet it was bigger than when the doctor originally began to meddle with it. And here you see an example of the smaller and the bigger. These are the comparative adjectives with the ER at the end. Okay, and meddle means to involve yourself in a matter without being invited. Okay. All right, let's go back and mark it up. So first of all, we're going to capitalize the word while. It's a clausal opener, and he is a preposition. Maintained is a verb. His is a preposition, and disguised is a noun. The is an article. Soldier is a noun. Chopped is a verb. Some is an adjective. Apple is a noun. And is a coordinating conjunction. a fanboy. Handed is a verb, her is a pronoun, a is an article, and dos is a noun. Don't forget your ending punctuation there. Okay. On number 2, we have a new paragraph. You can see that it's indented. Okay, and we're also going to capitalize the A in the word as because it's the beginning of a sentence. It's also a clausal opener in this case. The is an article, soldier is a noun, had is a verb, and anticipated is a verb, had being the helping verb, had anticipated. The is an article, next is an adjective, day is a noun, her is a pronoun, knows is a noun, was is a verb, and better is an adjective. Alright, then you have a who which clause here. Notice, yep, there's a comma there, okay? You have to have a comma before a who which clause. Left is a verb, the is an article, unhappy is an adjective. What is unhappy describing? The princess, which is a noun. In is a preposition, a is an article, dreadful is an adjective, and fright is a noun. And this, of course, is a prepositional phrase, in a dreadful fright. Remember, when you have a prepositional phrase, you can't have a verb. It's only the preposition and a noun or a pronoun. In this case, fright is the noun. Okay, number 3. Capitalize the word the, because it's the beginning of a sentence. It's also an article. Doctor is a noun. Chopped is a verb. A is an article. Modest is an adjective. Portion is a noun. Of is a preposition, starting the prepositional phrase of the pair. The is an article, and is a noun. Which, another who which clause, so we have a comma here right before it. He is a pronoun. Presented is a verb. To is a preposition, and her is a pronoun. Period. To her is another prepositional phrase. We have the preposition plus the pronoun. Preposition plus the noun. Prepositional phrase has to be a preposition plus a noun or a pronoun. Okay. Notice the word as here can be a preposition, but in this case it's a clausal opener because it is followed by a noun and a verb. Okay, all your subordinating conjunctions or your WWW Asia because clause words have to be followed by a noun and a verb. Last sentence. A new paragraph because we're starting the next day. The is capitalized, it's an article. Next is an adjective describing which day, which is a noun. Her is a pronoun, knows is a noun, was is a verb, that's a mistake. Smaller is an adjective, it's a comparative adjective. Yet is a coordinating conjunction. It is a pronoun, was is a verb, bigger is another comparative adjective. When is a clause opener. The is an article, doctor is a noun. Originally is an ly adverb. Began is a verb. To meddle is an infinitive verb, which we're not marking. And another prepositional phrase here, with is a preposition and it is a pronoun. Preposition plus noun or pronoun equals a prepositional phrase. Don't forget your period. Okay, so that's the marking of Fix-It number 29, week 29. So you'll take this and rewrite it correctly and add on to your story. And on Thursday, we will be doing another Fix-It lesson, possibly even 2, because we have to catch up. So we'll be able to finish by the end of the year. Okay, that's all I have for you. This is your crossword puzzle that you're going to be doing for your homework tonight, and I'm sorry it's so small, but that's best I could do. And notice there is a correction on number 3 down. It should be expert in the use of hands or body, skillful. Okay, and I wrote that on the blog post too, so you'll have that there. Okay, so your homework is to create a fused keyword outline from your notes, rewrite Fix-It 29, add to your story, and then do the crossword puzzle. Okay? And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.